everyone. Welcome to the fourth edition of Lifft India Filmotsav and Awards World Cine Fest 2020, a virtual meet. And today we have some magnificent painters from Rachna Sansad Academy of Fine Arts and Craft. So I would like to introduce the founder of Lifft India, Mr. Riju Bajaj, sir. So where are you? Welcome
Thank you,
everyone.
Madhavi. Thank you, and welcome everybody. All such young, budding, dynamic painters, magnificent painters, as Madhavi put. We can begin the conversation with Ms. Anjali Nair first. Hello,
Yes.
Anjali.
Hello.
Hi, ma'am.
Hi.
Hi.
Uh, it's I would like to say that you had submitted a lot of paintings to us, and where we shortlisted a few of them, maybe around 3 or 4 paintings of yours have been selected by the festival. One was Shiva and Born Free. Um, there is a nude study composition and Mumbai. So, Anjali, could you tell us how you began your painting stint in Mumbai?
Okay. Uh, Basically, I'm from Delhi, and I've always had a creative place. However, once I got married and settled over here, I was into a lot of other things. But after my kids, I started realizing that the learning process of teaching them, it's very visual for me. And apart from being an artist, I'm also an educator. So one of my lesson plans would always involve a lot of visuals. And I started taking drawing classes. And slowly and steadily, I was study teaching for 13 years. Uh, then I had this thing that I really need to learn art in a very academic kind of setup. So that is how I got in touch with Sansad Academy of Fine Arts and Crafts, and that is how my journey began as an artist. That was the
Okay.
initiation towards fine art.
Um we see a lot of the green use of green and blue in your paintings in a very digital style. Uh, could you elaborate on that? That what does it represent? How have you adopted this style of painting?
Um, okay, basically, I whenever I do my paintings and all, I like it to be. I don't like it to be too much of black and white, especially when I'm using paint, not ink, especially paints. So most of these things, I have a tendency to, love greenery. I just love greenery. In fact, my small balcony, I've been, doing gardening for quite some time. And naturally, when as a child, because when we also started painting, it usually starts with the tree concept. Usually paint a tree. So the tree has, become a very important part of my painting. And the color specifically, I would not say green as such because I use all kinds of color. But then, yes, I'm say like I love the fact that uh, there has to be around, which I see less and less of in the atmosphere right now, what we are having in Mumbai also. So that is something that I really like that it should be there. But the way of using color is, it just comes. Uh, I'm doing working layers on layers. So if there's a one layer, then there's a second layer. So it develops accordingly. So I don't actually do my painting in just one layer and just leave it like that. So this is how
There's a painting of yours which is Born Free, which we
yes.
see two canines maybe sitting on some hilltop or a top of a building, and you see the entire landscape of a city, which is
Yes.
dominated by blue. The skyline. You see less of the city skyscrapers as compared to the sky which is there. It's predominantly covering more of the frame, which is where we said that you're using a lot of greens and the blues, because your other paintings did have those combinations, and like the Mumbai combination, where we have only the green, a very graphic style thing which is there. So, what is the concept of this Born Free? How did you think of it? Because seeing two canines at the top of a building or a hill and basically a top of the world. What is the? How did you get that thought?
Okay. So basically, it's my personal painting of mine, and that it kind of represents me with my kids also. It's a symbolic painting, and also the fact that there's a struggle every day. In Mumbai, in the sense that there's so much of happening every day. It's a fast city. It just keeps on. There's a fast pace to it. There's nothing like you can just sit, and it's very difficult to actually sit and relax for a very very long time, which I can kind of really imagine because that environment was quite different while I was in Delhi. I could just sit in my balcony, have a cup of coffee, and look at the greenery around. But when I open my window, I see only buildings over here. So there's a lot of buildings over here. But this time, yes, definitely, because I definitely hope things will be for the better. We realize that we are going totally urbanization. I don't see, like what I mentioned before, that I don't see a lot of around. And the hope is there that someday we may be able to improve this kind of a small box kind of a thing, and move towards something that is more open spaces. So that is one of my concerns. My paintings are basically they do talk about the urban space.
Yeah.
So even the some Bond can actually relate it to my Mumbai painting also, which is full of buildings.
There is another painting of yours which is totally in contrast with your earlier, the other paintings that we've just discussed, which is your nudity composition. Especially the one where we see a woman sitting, or we don't know whether it's a chair or a pot or what, with it gives a feeling as if she's on a melting pot, which gives a very surrealist feel to the entire painting. And we see only the side body of the woman there. How influenced are you with Salvador Dali?
Yes, I really like his painting, and it's like very interesting. I see a lot of his paintings, and probably I have made few of surrealistic paintings as well, which I have not actually shared with you. Um, but yes, definitely influence is there because we actually see our mind. We are always absorbed in a lot of things. We never stop thinking, and whatever we are thinking, it is not necessary. Those things are very concrete in our mind. So there's always a kind of surrealism attitude we all have within us. So even for the woman, like it is basically about her thought process and who decides for her. Is she a prisoner or what exactly? I'm saying like how uh, is she the prisoner or somebody else is the prisoner of their thoughts? So basically, it's about the thought process.
So, what is that, the melting thing there? Is it a sheet or is it plastic or it's a ceramic? What is it? I mean, because it's not very clear.
That's study. That's why I've named it as study composition. We had a study in college, and we were asked to interpret uh, the nude study according to what our thoughts and beliefs are. So when I actually sketched it, I preferred sketching her from the back because I did not want to give her a face. Because I think a lot of women, I'm not talking about feminism over here, but a lot of women, they want to do a lot of things, and yet, there are certain things many times that stops them from breaking that barrier to go ahead in life. probably it's the family issues or taking care of the kids, and somewhere she has to stop. So is it like it is a societal pressure, or is it like she is restricting herself to those kind of pressure? So that is what this painting is about. So you can interpret it. I leave it completely up to the viewer to interpret that painting. But for me, this was my thought process as I was actually painting this poster.
It's lovely to hear the painter's side or version of the thoughts and how they interpret and how they want the viewers to interpret their painting. They leave that freedom for the viewer to have their own interpretations, likes and dislikes to the paintings, which is very good to know, Anjali, that you think like that. And you are mostly you work with the oil paints or watercolors or digital painting. What is your forte?
I prefer using acrylics because I love doing oils also, but then Bombay being a very humid city, I cannot actually keep on doing oil painting. So mostly nowadays I'm working with acrylics and many times with pen and ink, but those are mostly sorry, but those are mostly black and white sketches kind of. So basically acrylic.
Okay. We have another painter amongst us who is, I don't know whether I should call him a painter or a photographer. Uh, there's a combination of
Mr.
both
Spandan.
in him, Mr. Spandan. Uh, I think we should have a spotlight on Mr. Spandan. So there we are. Hi. Hi.
Hi.
So, yeah, Spandan. We have seen your some photographs also that you have submitted to us. So we were in little perplexed in which category should we put you in photography or in painting, because what the painting that you have, Dare to Stay Back. I hope I've got the title correct.
Yes, that's right.
Uh, could you tell us something about that painting? How you came about making that painting?
There's a lot of background to that actually. Uh, if I start, basically, I am interested into erotic and nude paintings in the human body itself. So I was looking at how I could do something different with it, and like I had a conversation with one of the panelists today, that is Anjali Di. She and I had a conversation about how looking at certain things or certain aspects of a particular subject uh, from a different perspective helps create a new form of art. And I was considering what I could do different with if I was looking at a nude of a human body, and how differently can I look at it. And so something from the past came to me, as in during when I was in the Mumbai University as a student. uh, we had a situation where one of the teachers, we like a few of our students had complained against him because of how he used to uh, look at the female students, and how it made them feel uncomfortable. And we had gone, as in we had complained against him and taken a whole there was a whole process of you know uh, how people were actually uh, protesting against this whole idea, okay, about how even a teacher is objectifying his students. So this whole idea of staring at a woman and objectifying her organs and sexualizing them, that whole thing stayed in my mind, and I kept thinking about that, which led to this whole process of this painting, the idea of exchanging the breasts of the woman with the eyes. And the idea here is that if you are the figure here, the the main subject in this painting, the woman whose breasts and eyes have been exchanged, is basically looking back, staring back at this patriarchal society, uh, and saying, "Would you prefer me like this? And if you don't prefer me like this, just don't treat me like it." So it's that's the idea of this painting, basically.
Sorry to interrupt you, Spandan. Your video is stuck. Can you
I
readjust your
know.
video, camera, phone, or whatever?
I don't know what's happening. Why is it stuck like that?
You can re-log in if you want.
I'll do that. Yeah.
Sometimes that works. So in the meantime, we'll shift to Preeti. You are working. Well, we have Spandan back. So let's see if we can go
Hi.
back to Spandan. Yeah, we have his video back. So instead of breaking the chain of thought, we'll continue with Spandan then. Yes,
Yeah.
Spandan. So you were mentioning about this, the exchange of the body parts and the organs in terms
Yeah.
of confronting the aspect of or the objectifying of the a woman's body, in fact.
Yes.
So what happened or what struck you when you thought of exchanging the body organs or the parts to denote your what you were thinking, how to denote that, how did you arrive at
Uh,
this decision?
so there's this
Was it inspired?
simple.
What I mean is, was it inspired by any other image, or it is like it said that you had that bulb, which suddenly lights up in the night.
So the basic thought behind this whole painting is when a man stares at the breasts instead of the eyes, the common thought or common idiom that goes is the eyes are up here. So that was the inspiration for this whole painting. So that's the basic idea. Instead of uh, you know, so you are
So
staring at my breast. So that's
yeah.
yeah.
So is this
Yeah.
painting you've made it? It's a handmade painting or it's a digital painting?
No, this is a digital painting actually. In fact, one of my first digital paintings. I am usually a person who likes to get his hands dirty while painting charcoal. And sorry, shouldn't be saying my hands dirty. I get my entire uh, t-shirt and whatever I'm wearing, everything gets dirty when I'm painting, or even
Well,
sketching for that matter.
I would creatively put that you color yourself
Yeah, I do.
while painting. So, what is the kind of feedback you have got onto this painting that you've made? Because generally, I mean, a couple of years back, there was a film which released here, and it made a lot of ruckus and havoc amongst the medias, and was talked about. The film's name, I'm sure you know, The Nude. Uh,
Yeah.
it basically just because a painter is painting nude and you've shown a nude model. So, how do you? Did you face any such problems, controversies, or you know troubles?
Well, to be honest, I haven't put this up on social media or any other place. What I've done is I've shared with a lot of. In fact, this is a very new painting. Like I finished it a couple of days before submitting it here. So I have shared it with my contemporaries, if I may say, and other friends and people. And something that I've noticed very interestingly is that most of the women I have shown this to have instantly connected to the idea. They were like, "I get what you're trying to show. That is the thing," and they were like, "Yes, something is. Yeah, this is very nice." But whenever I've shown it to a man, most of them have been repulsed by the idea, or they have found it very disturbing, or I don't know, unnatural. That's the kind of feedback I got from men. And to be honest, that is exactly the kind of reaction I expected and wanted people to have. That it will disturb them if that kind of viewpoint if that figure disturbs you, then why is the patriarchal society always sexualizing a woman or their organs? That's the basic idea.
Yes, I mean that's a very valid point and very
So
nicely
yeah, if you're
put.
talking about feedback, so that is the kind of feedback.
So, which is surprising that even now, I mean, in this modern era, you are still getting those kind of feedbacks, and the fact that you are forced to think to paint something like this reflects what kind of a society situation is currently, which needs, and these are the problems which needs to be addressed. So there are a lot of mediums that we have literature, which is books, we have films and theater,
Right.
and so we have paintings which are reflecting certain evil aspects of the society in a very silent way. It's just a pictorial way. If they can connect very well, if they get repulsed, of course, art is supposed to disturb. Otherwise, there's no point of having creating any art. It's not just a beauty. Madhavi, would you like to say something about this painting? Because being a woman,
Uh,
Yes.
yes, about this painting, I'll come later. But first, I want to ask a very valid question that you're a photographer, you're a writer also, right? And I think you have written in front of your name, art is my QI, that is key, and
Yes.
IKIGAI. That stands for a Japanese concept which means there's a purpose for
Key. Key.
being there. Key, which
Ikigai.
means
Yes.
yes, which means that there's a purpose for being there. Relatively.
Yes.
So yeah. So
Life
why
force.
is it? Yes. So do you think
Yes.
title or something we need to give an expression to a painting? Is it required when it is self-explanatory about everything? How important is the title or relevance of title to you?
If it is explain self, to me personally, I like to give titles to things, to my writings, to my photographs, to my art per se. I like it personally, but I am open to the idea of somebody not titling their works if it is self-explanatory. Okay, to me it is like why I add a title always is because it is a part of that creative process for me. It is an added dimension to whatever I am trying to show through an art piece or through a photograph or a write up. To me, that is how it is. But a lot of people say that when it is untitled, it is unclear to a lot of people. But I do think that the the artist is the best judge whether to title a work or not, because
Right.
to him or her, it will be like it will be apparent to that person, that the artist himself or herself, that my title could limit the idea or focus the idea, or keeping in a
It may
title
just
can open it up to a lot of interpretations.
correct. Correct.
Yeah.
Thank you. That's what I wanted to know.
Thank you.
And that's it. Yes, sir.
okay.
I wanted to
Uh,
ask Anjali ma'am a question which I was wanting to ask.
yes.
Ma'am, what is the texture you have used for one of your first painting, which is in green and
Mumbai.
in blue, which shows Spirit of Mumbai? What is the texture you have used? Can't hear you, ma'am. You
Your mic
mute.
is off.
Okay, now?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's it.
Yeah. Okay. Uh, Basically, that painting, I like using a lot of text, mediums also when I'm doing. So this particular medium is paper. So I have actually used post-it notes.
Sticky
That what we
notes.
usually,
Sticky
probably
notes.
stick it and
You have
write
used
the note
sticky.
on
You
it.
have used those sticky notes which we used to post it. Yeah, post its, and
Sticky
you have
notes.
just cut it. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
I have
yeah, yeah,
used
yeah.
the sticky notes.
Please carry on. Carry on. Yeah.
Yeah, because every note that So that every note, actually, whatever you're writing, and every, it's basically the symbolic of a city. So every city, every house, every, place that you live in has a story of its own. So basically, that was the concept. The whole city, and the fact that each and every one is unique, and each and everyone has a very unique story to himself or herself that makes that person what he or she is. So that is what I have used the paper, the
Right.
post-it basically because it's a sticky note, and we have to write something. We are probably rushing also. We just write, small things. So it's the small things that also
Correct.
matter in your life. So you cannot write a whole paragraph in the small
Absolutely.
post-it note, but it's the small things that actually really make up your life probably more
Right.
colorful
And as
also.
per my knowledge, you have attended many workshops, rather, you have conducted many workshops.
Yes,
Right. Uh,
like I'm an educator there.
right. So the yeah, I want to ask one more question about your painting, which is the Born Free, which has the
Hmm?
title Born Free. So
Yes.
it says, with born free of all barriers of an urban jungle and true lives, our lives as a person. Are you trying to define freedom here? If yes, what kind of freedom are you mentioning here?
Okay. On free, it's also, if you would know that it is also the title of movie. Okay. And basically, again, the symbolic of using the lion because this Born Free movie was also about, you belong to nature. That is what your, you know, your essence is. And now, what the nature we see is very concrete in its substance. It's all building around. So freedom is in, like, you can interpret it two ways. That freedom of space. You can also interpret it in a way that it's a freedom to think what you want to do and then act upon that thinking. Many times you think really hard that you really want to do certain things, but then sometimes that action part doesn't follow that thinking immediately. It might take time,
Right,
but yes, the freedom to think, the freedom to take action on it, and also the freedom to live a life that is, free of, restraints that the society puts on you.
All right.
okay.
So
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Yes,
now we can shift the focus to Ms. Arti Raj. Um,
Right.
we have some paintings from you called Leaves, Floating Leaves. Now, you have we had some other paintings from you where you had painted some birds, the swans flying, but you have focused on inanimate objects like leaf or water, things like that. So, is that the area of your specialization, or there is more because we got very some limited work of yours to see?
Yes, actually, my most of my works are based on life experience. So whatever I have experienced in my life, like it is related to freedom or whatever responsibilities of life, and also it is mainly related to that. And my work is mostly concept-based abstract work. So I express my feelings through leaf or birds, mostly through leaves and birds. So, like if I talk about floating leaf, that is also mainly related to life experience because leaf is something which, even after years on years, a dry leaf can be kept anywhere and it can be there. So, in my that painting, the background is very blurred type. So, but leaf is still there. So, it is like related to your journey of life. So most of my works is related to that only. Like life experience is mostly related to. Uh, I express that through birds or leaves or something, any of the other object.
Uh, there is an element of almost like a 3D effect which you are achieving in your paintings, very slight one. I think that is maybe because you're using a lot of blurring of the background
Yes,
of your subject, basically.
yes.
So, is that's a deliberate choice.
That is a deliberate choice because I wanted to keep the background very blurred, and the leaf is a dry leaf wherein only the veins are visible. So the background is a life which is from the childhood to old age, you can say. So it is a very blur type of thing, but still the leaf is there with a lot of veins are still visible in that. So that is a choice only.
So you've used hand painting, or this is also partially digital?
No, not digital. All hand painting. I use
It's all
brush
hand.
and yeah, brush and I mostly use knife also.
Sorry,
Knife,
Knife.
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 Yeah,
Exactly.
because the audio connection is a little poor, so the clarity is missing. So, Madhvi, you have any question?
Uh, okay.
Or then we can move on to the next.
We can move on to the next. We'll come back again. Let me think about it. Yeah, we can
Okay,
come
I
to the
think
next.
Aishwarya Parab is trying to log in multiple times and is losing the connection once again and again. So, yeah, I think she's back here. The Spandan is there. All right. We're losing Aishwarya multiple times. So we'll come to the Bhavika Magnani. Bhavika, your paintings are denoting very again inanimate objects, or you're painting an animal. It's more of a commercial folk style of the painting, the folk touch and the colors, which are very traditional. So how do you come about that? Because as compared to the other painters, your contemporaries and all, where the area of work is very different, uh, what you have painted is something which is sold in a day-to-day life uh, in much more quantities and numbers, if I would say that. Pavika, can you hear? No, I think her video is
I
stuck.
didn't hear the
Yeah.
last part. What did you ask?
Yeah, I'm saying that you have chosen a folk, the style of
Yeah, I
painting
did hear
in
the
terms
last
of,
part.
yes. How come you have chosen to paint something which is so massy, so commercial? Which is, these are
So
the
you
kind of
basic
paintings which are sold maximum because they get a easy connect with the people. It's like, and it's more folkish. So what has inspired you to get into the folk style, traditional style of painting?
You're not audible.
Am I audible now? Is it any better?
Okay, so what inspired me to get into the folk style of art?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so what inspired me to get into folk and traditional kind of art is maybe basically I love our Indian culture and I love how Indian culture is so magnificent and it's so aesthetic. So I've also read about Rasa and everything, aesthetic books and everything, and I realized that Indian art needs more, more beautiful and have those little, these motifs and everything. They inspire me a lot. And tribal art, I've done a as a young child, I did a course of tribal art and everything. So red color, yellow color were always my favorite kind of colors. So I was very much connected to Gond, Wali, and Madhubani. Madhubani used to paint an animal basically. Is I believe elephant is my soul animal. I only prefer to depict my paintings. So all my paintings have like a part of love, compassion, because I have this belief that love is all you need and love is all you have. So human being just has love and compassion, because I have this belief that love is all you need and love is all you have. So human being just has love and compassion, there's nothing other than that. So all my paintings are based on the concept of true love. Particularly elephant I chose because I get a lot of inspiration from elephants, and I visited two parts of the country. I've been to Nepal, I've been to Thailand, I've been to Fiji. Everywhere I saw elephants and different kind of elephants, and yet they, have the same kind of what do you say? They possess the same thing internally, like the beautiful inside out. They have so much of power, but they chose to love you. They don't choose to show power on you. They choose to love you. Indeed, an elephant can, even destroy the world, but an elephant always chooses to love. And even Plato has said once that, everything you want to know about life, you can learn from elephants. So all these sayings, all the things that I've been to Nepal, I learned a lot about Buddha culture and everything, Buddhism. I realized how elephants are so important in astrology and everywhere. And Airavata painted, I painted this Airavata because I believe that Airavata, again being an elephant, is the universe. It creates the universe in one way. It creates rainbow. So I've showcased three types of Airavata: the Abramatanga, the Naggamala, and the Akrasodara, which is the brother of the sun, the king of the elephant, and the creator of the clouds and everything, and the fighting elephant. Though it has a sense of fighting, but it's still so beautiful and so important. I have also painted a lot of other elephants. Like I'm still painting one currently. I'm at my studio launch. So they inspire me a lot. So they inspire me a lot. So they inspire me a lot. My mathematical elephant stories inspire me a lot. And I'm a big believer of
Yeah,
love and
there's a lot of
compassion. So
connection
like
problem,
to
I think,
paint
the
those.
audio. Okay. That's interesting because traditional
Yeah,
art
actually,
is, yeah, the traditional
the
art,
video is lagging a lot.
yeah, a lot of dropouts happening. But anyways, I mean,
Am I
that's
audible
the
now?
technology. Yes, yeah. Yeah, the traditional art is, in fact, the more you can say it looks very easy, but actually it isn't easy because, all the colors, they represent something or the other, and they have grown and acquired those meanings and affiliations to itself over the years, the centuries, in fact, rather. And like you beautifully put that, what the three colors represent, because you have the three images of almost the similar image which you have shown, and how those colors represent three different things, which is very interesting. So the traditional art is very difficult, but yet it is very commercial, and it's very good for painters to market the traditional art. In fact, even in the modern times, I'm sure a lot of painters who are doing contemporary paintings or modern art and all would face a little slightly more tougher situations in terms of marketing their works. Would you agree to that? Um, Bhavika, can you hear?
I agree to that, that modern art is difficult to go commercial.
Sorry, Bhavika, can you repeat that because your audio is very bad? All right. Anyway,
Are you
maybe
saying that modern art is difficult to go commercially?
I guess maybe Preeti or Spandan can answer that.
You're not
Or
audible.
yeah, because we're having audio issues at Bhavika's end. So maybe Spandan, you can speak for that.
Uh, I think PTD would be a better person to answer that, actually.
Okay. Preeti, so balls come to your court.
What is the question, please? I didn't
The
hear
question
it.
is that since Bhavika is into in traditional art, she is painting which is represents the folk stories and like that. So it is easier to market those kind of paintings works at a commercial level, as opposed to the modern art and the other kind of paintings uh, in terms of marketing. So do you agree to this?
Yes, Riju. Now the reason behind this is that
In my very short journey of art, what I have understood is that people don't understand what art is. So, what is
Yes, I mean,
appealing
we
to the eye
always
is
say
art.
that art is not to be understood,
And
it
what
is to
gives
be
joy?
interpreted, but positively.
Yeah, and Bhavika's art gives a lot of joy, and it is so beautiful and vibrant that it's like, when when in the movies you go to de-stress, so when you look at her art, you're instantly de-stressing. A very short incident. Uh, we had an exhibition at Global, and in the first day, the only painting that sold was Bhavika's. That was an elephant
Well,
that brought
exactly,
joy,
that's what
and
I
it was
meant.
bought
I
by
mean,
none other. Yeah, and it was none other than Adi Jahangir who bought it. And he says, I have a lot of MFs and all in my living area, and I don't want to see monotony anymore. I want to come home every day to see something that brings me joy, happiness, and love. So it gave the painting that she had displayed such escalated value of belonging, that you need to be happy. The end result of everything, even if you're making a monotonous painting, which is your conceptual art like I do, but or anything else, the idea is to be happy at what you're looking at. And this is what every one of Bhavika's works um, is the creation of this kind of, I think she herself is so bubbly and happy. And so this reflects in her work. I love her work.
so coming to your work, which has a lot of diverse issues, images and the colors. Um, what we realize by looking at your work is that it's very difficult to make out whether the two paintings belong to the same painter, which is very rare to witness. Uh, Generally, the painters have their own signature. When you see an image, or the palette of color or the subject, that maybe it belongs to so and so painter, or at least there is some kind of a mm, what do you call that, the synergy in the paintings, that it belongs to one person or one creator. In your work, we felt, are they really all your paintings?
I didn't get the last word. I didn't get the last line.
Are they really your paintings, all of them that you submitted? Because it forced us to
You,
think like that. So,
I know I get a lot of people asking me this, that how can anybody be so versatile? The thing is, I'm a spontaneous worker, and I have to be in and out of one particular work in less than 15 minutes. I cannot stand doing anything for more than that. And it's a rush in and a rush out. It's like till the idea lasts, I'm there, and after that, I'm bored and I'm out of it. I don't work on anything on a prior basis, and whatever comes to mind is what comes on paper. Something generally things that disturb me around myself. And if I'm working on something for very long, that means I'm at a lot of peace doing that. Now I know that we all need to be stereotyped into some particular kind of work, so that because that's our comfort zone. And it's like an actor, he will just be in a villainous character because uh, the audience recognize him for that. So that's the same thing for artists, I think. So I'm not so learned in all this, but everybody looks for a particular type so their work can be recognized. I think I don't have a style yet, or maybe my style is just this, I'm spontaneous. And working on mental health is something that I like to do, and I think that issues that are taboo and society wants to brush them under the carpet, I think I like to work on those, because I want people to know that these problems exist. Just by closing your eyes, they won't go away. So and it gives me satisfaction. This really, once I've done it, I am really happy because I know I want to reach it out to people, and I my work is not for the probably for the sales bit, but it's a connect with people that I have, and I think that is what I work on.
There is an audio disturbance at your end, Preeti. I think you need to check that. There's a lot of echo coming from your side.
I'll just
Yeah.
now is it
Try to
okay?
use try to use a cable headphone with the cable instead of on a Bluetooth because sometimes it gives a mismatch, a frequency mismatch. Just say something so we can test it.
Okay, now is it okay?
Yeah, so far so good. Yes. So we'll continue. Yeah. So there's one painting which where you have made this a sanitary napkin and in which you have inserted a female figure. Uh, what does it denote? I mean, what are you trying to say through that image?
Okay, so that is an original sanitary napkin, and I have painted on that and used a pen also. And see, in India, and I'm sure lots of other countries, menstruation is still a taboo. Women are kept away. What originated as a rest period for a woman and hygiene issues have gone in for religious stuff, and there is a lot of chut untouchability when a woman is in her periods. So originally it was supposed to be rest time for 7 days, and now it is considered as uncleanliness. So even Sabrimala and the gods have gone through this in India. And earlier it was because your kitchens were on the floor, the cooking was done on the floor. So, and there were no sanitary napkins. Cloth was used or cotton was used, and there was leakage and obviously smell. So that is why the concept of the woman resting, and plus you're not supposed to carry heavy stuff, and so lots of issues and lots of laborious work was done in those days. So these rules were made, which in time uh, changed, and you are kept away from the temple, you're kept away from praying in your own house. Even if you're in some communities, even if you're in a gathering, your plate is served right in the end of the hall, even amongst 500 people. So, like those 500 people know that, oh, this babe has her periods. How insulting is that? For something that God gave us naturally, He made us the creator. In fact, when I had a dog for the first time, I got to know that dogs have periods. I mean, I know I am naive. It is stupidity that I didn't know this, but since a female is supposed to give birth, and this is the only way you need to give birth, way means of giving birth, but it is quite shocking actually that for something natural you need to be on a guilt trip for 7 days, and we are passing it. It's been passed down to me, and I've made sure that my daughter does not go through any of this. Not that actually, even if I do try, she will listen, but because education has escalated to a point where these stupid things are not followed. So this is menstruation is not a taboo, it's natural.
Okay.
That's
There's another painting of yours which is titled, I guess it's Pawns and Pawn Mind and Games,
okay.
uh,
Born my need.
which is very diverse, different from your other works. Like we said, it's quite versatile. I mean, the color combination and the artwork is very different. Where you're playing with the black and whites and just a dash of red. What is it representing? What are you trying to say through that painting?
Okay, so black and white and red are one of my favorites, my favorite colors. And now there's this phase I was going through where there were some issues within the family, and it was quite disturbing me. So then I realized that this is very normal. I've never been through all this, so I don't know. We are quite a happy uh, foursome, and we've never seen this. So after coming back to India, I'm seeing that there are so many issues in families. We've never been exposed to family, and so I feel that why is everybody in families so pretentious on the face and so pretentious and different behind the back? And so this really bothered me, and that is when I made this. That is life just a box of chess where everybody needs to use everybody, and the pawn or the person who is the quietest and does not indulge in things is the one who's always the pawn who needs to be sacrificed, the weaker person.
So So that's a very interesting aspect. That would you agree that most of the artists or the painters, if I may say, project the situations or the issues or the problems which are related to sparking out of their personal lives. So they are more subjective rather than objective.
See, what I've got to know is there are two aspects to an artist. One is his commercial work, and one is the work that he does for himself. Exactly like farmers do. The cash crop is different and the self crop is different. So I think even artists have this, and what you would do for yourself is very different. But again, your thoughts will definitely reflect in your main work, maybe through colors, maybe through a concept, but somewhere definitely, because you cannot separate the artist from the person. They are actually one. So
So
that
you're
is
trying to
where
say that do the artists or the painters carry a sense of social responsibility in projecting the social issues?
if they don't, they should, because they have a lot of power in their brush. So it becomes a moral responsibility, exactly like filmmakers, that it's you people's responsibility to guide the public well. So is ours.
Yes, and that reminds the pen is mightier than sword.
Exactly. So here the brush is the pen, and it has a lot of power in it.
Yes. So I'll wrap up with this session. I'm sorry that we missed out on Aishwarya Parab. I think she's been trying desperately to log in, but there are some network issues uh, being faced. Maybe, but we can continue this session sometime later. We can have one more session in which we can talk a little more about other paintings of yours, because there are so many paintings, and just 1 hour is not enough to finish this conversation. And we can go on, and there is a lot more to be discussed. I mean, for example, Spandan's other photographs, where he has taken a photograph of a mother dog feeding all the babies, which are there on the road and the street. It's a marvelous picture where how the posture of that mother is amazing. I mean, that it's a moment which is captured. So we
Um,
see now so many photographs like that, and there's the other the painting or a photograph, or maybe it's a mix of a photograph and a painting on a bridge, under a rain. So Spandan, is that just a photograph or it's a combination?
No, it's a photograph.
It
it's
is,
a
but it
It's
looks
photograph.
just
like,
a photo.
but it does give an impression of a touch of a painting as well.
Yeah, I was very lucky to capture that moment, and uh, so it just came out. A lot of people have asked me this, if it is painting or not, and it's not.
Yeah.
And the nature itself looked like a painting that day. So
and
yeah,
and it's that's exactly, I mean, the photography, what we look at is you're capturing that particular moment. It's
yes.
uh, we have a short film in our festival which is called Take It. There is this one, the camera person who's trying to fix a frame at a riverside in during a sunset time. It's a black and white film, and there is this and he wants to take the nature, he wants to shoot the nature, and there is this old woman who's sitting at the river bank, and he's waiting for that woman to move out, and she refuses to move, and the photographer gets desperate, and he tells, ma'am, please move, I need to take this before the sun dies, in the sense because it's sunset, so he would have lost the light. And the old woman just turns to him and says, just take it. So anyway, so he is disgusted, and he takes the picture, and which turns out to be his best picture ever, because it's adding an element to in an inanimate frame. There is a life which has been added, which is a 90-year-old woman with all that contours on her face and everything. It's a beautiful film, which says that you have to capture a moment. I mean, you can't make things, you can't set up things to take a picture. So take it as it is. So I guess that's what your photograph on the river, the bridge with the rain, signifies. I mean, it's a moment. It's a beautiful moment that you've captured.
Yeah.
So with that, we'll end this session today, and we look forward to seeing you
Thank you.
and talking to you about paintings much more in detail in our next session. Thank you for being with Lift India, Madhavi. You can.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, everybody. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Looking forward for our next session because I have lots more to speak. I wanted to speak about the periods being no more a taboo. That was true, PTG, because I don't know whether you all are aware or not. Because in South we have a festival proudly celebrated by the parents when the child or the girl child gets matured. That's they call it as a sari function. So it means when I was new here, I was like, "What is sari function?" And they were like, "No, you don't know. Oh, she got chums, She's matured." So I said, "Why do you have to tell everybody come lutify her?" You know. So he said, "No, no, we are just celebrating it. So it's a function here. It's a very big function. You know, they celebrate it. So
So
as
see, what
rightly
a
you said, it,
contrast. I mean, what a
it's
contrast
very
of
contrast. It's a
society we
contrast.
have within one country,
They make
and our
they make her
rituals
wear
and traditions.
sari. They make her wear sari. They make all big gold jewelry, full, and it's a very big function, like a marriage.
I know, I've heard of it.
Correct.
So yeah, yeah. So
Okay,
that's
so
all. We'll continue with this session.
yeah, that's a wrap for this session. Thank you
Thanks.
for being with Lift India,
Thank
all of
you.
you.
Thank you,
Thank you.
everybody. Thank you.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
Riju. Thank you,
Bye.
Madhavi.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you, all of you. Thank you. Thank you, all of you.
Bye.
Bye bye.